Claudia, welcome into the show.
Thank you.
And I'm going to start with the most obvious thing. There's so many fascinating things about you, what got you here, how it is back home. But I'm going to ask a question that I think 99% of the fans and myself included are curious about. Are we saying your name correctly? Because even your first name is different than how most Americans would say it. So I'm going to start by saying you say it exactly how you want us to say it.
Okay, I say it Claudia Acin.
Acin.
Yeah.
There's some syllables, I guess, that Americans are not used to saying. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's not just exclusive to Americans. If you talk to people from Asian countries, there are certain letters that we say that is very difficult for them to say, or they're just not used to saying.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think rolling the R's...
Yeah, that thing, it's, yeah.
And in your case, the Acin is something that's just not really in our language that we don't...
But you say it pretty good.
Did I say it? Okay,
yeah,
good.
Yeah,
that's good. That makes me feel a lot better because it took about half the season. So don't listen to any of the games from the first half of the season because I was getting it wrong until probably about a month ago. Have you run into any issues with English words? Obviously, I know that it not being your first language, there's going to be some things, but is there anything that's kind of...
We're talking with the internationals, like, what are the most difficult words to say? And for example, we're saying the word world, like, world.
Okay.
World. It's difficult to say.
Yeah.
Like, that R-L, I don't know.
Never thought about that. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to be very careful how I say this because I have to talk to Coach Green next, and he might be listening on the other side of the wall and punch me. But if English isn't your first language, and you're very good at it, don't get me wrong, but you're still learning.
Obviously I'm learning. And
slang, you're learning different.
Oh, the slang is really difficult for me.
And then you have to learn Southern English because of Coach Green. Mm-hmm. Has that been fun?
I mean, sometimes he's talking and I'm like listening, and I try to listen, but sometimes I'm just lost. But I'm getting into it.
What's the biggest difference between Lynchburg and home? And tell everyone where home is.
Well, I live in Girona, like my home that is in Catalonia, in Spain. And the biggest difference. Okay, I think Lynchburg is I don't know if it's little here, like a little city.
Relatively speaking.
Girona is a little city in Spain, but like they both are little, but here I think that everything is so big, like everything for me. And here, for example, in America, they eat a lot of fast food. I never eat fast food, almost never. My mom was always cooking for me. And that's different. Then there's not a lot of like crosswalks in the streets. Yeah. So one day I was trying to cross the street and I couldn't, because I had to walk like for 15 minutes, and that's really different. That's a Lynchburg problem more than it is a United States problem. I think I think unfortunately, the city of Lynchburg doesn't believe in crosswalks and sidewalks as much as they should. And you don't see a lot of people in the streets, like walking. Yeah. I don't see a lot
much
of
more car traffic in this part of the country. I think if you go to the New York cities and places like that.
I've only been here. So I have no idea.
Yeah, I think as you go to more places around the United States, you'll kind of see there's some other areas that maybe have a little more of that kind of European influence and have more trains and we have bus service. But you go to New York City and you're riding a train to get from one side of the city to the other. Very few people are going to drive because traffic is so bad and parking is so bad. So it is wild. When you grow up, as you were growing up, and you would see television shows from the United States, movies from the United States, compared to when you actually got here, and I know Lynchburg's different because the movies are probably set in Los Angeles and L.A., and in New York and big cities, but there's some movies and things that are smaller towns. And did it seem about what you expected?
Yeah, there was one thing that I've never tried that was like the s'mores.
Oh, yeah.
So we went up there. I don't remember the name of that. That we went in a team retreat.
Oh, yeah.
So we had s'mores, and that was like a American thing for me.
Okay.
I was like, that's the American experience.
That's funny. Because I've talked to people from other parts of the world, and their picture of an American was a cowboy hat and cowboy boots and riding a horse, because those were the movies that they saw.
That's more like country movies or... Yeah.
So it really kind of just, there's so many different cultures in the United States, even, different parts of the world. I mean, you go certain places, the people there have never seen a horse in their life. You go to Texas, and there's a horse walking down the street tied up outside of a restaurant. It's just totally different worlds almost. So that's very fascinating. I saw that just recently that there was a video, and I wasn't sure exactly where it came from. It was in Spanish, so it was clearly from someone back home that they did maybe a television interview with you?
No, it was someone from here. I think
Was it?
Yeah, it was from here, and he said that he talked Spanish, and he wanted to interview me in Spanish. Yeah.
That's really cool. So it was a Liberty person, Liberty student?
No, it was. I don't think he's a student.
Okay. But
I think he
local.
was in Flames Central.
Wow. That's really
That
cool.
was really nice because I could speak like Spanish.
That's so good. Well, I can't help you there. I took 2 years of Spanish in high school, but I was born in Virginia, but grew up in Tennessee. And I'll just say this, even the teachers really didn't take it seriously.
Yeah.
It was almost like, the state requires that you take 2 years of language, so we've got to have it. But no one really felt like they were going to ever use it again, and I wish that wouldn't have been the case, because I really wish it would have been taken seriously, because I would love to be able to talk to you right now. Not just you, but I mean, anywhere you go around the country, there's a lot of...
That happened to me too. I was learning French when I was little, like for 3 years, and the teacher was talking in Spanish, but she was teaching French, so...
Not helpful.
Not helpful.
When did you first learn English?
When I was like 7, 8.
Okay. Is it a pretty common? Is it common in Spain because of tourists?
I don't know. I think English is a big language, and everyone should learn it. Because if I want to communicate with you, I mean, we'll talk English. We won't talk Spanish. So it's really important.
Yeah, I always wonder with some European countries. And there's some things that, like, okay, if you're a pilot, you have to know English because that's like the international language of aviation. And I think there's other kind of businesses that sort of run off of English too, which probably makes us Americans spoiled, if you want to say it that way, because we feel like we can go anywhere in the world and people will be able to understand us. And that's not always the case, but there does tend to be more chances that you could go to name a country and someone will be able to communicate in English. It's not necessarily the case. If you go to Germany, the chances of somebody being able to speak
English. Yeah.
Right, exactly. The chances if you're in Germany that somebody could speak Cantonese is very, very slim, but the chances that they could speak English is very high. So that it's kind of interesting how that works around the world. Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'd like to learn a little bit more about what life was like growing up and basketball in your area of Spain, and a little bit more about yourself, what you do for fun, what's exciting. So we'll take a quick break and be back after this here on the Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show. Welcome back into this week's Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show. We're here with Claudia Acin.
Yeah,
pretty
you
good.
said it right.
9 out of 10, maybe, at least. Claudia, growing up, and we kind of talked a little bit about the comparison. Your city is small relative to Spain. What was basketball like in your hometown?
I mean, in my hometown, there's in males and in females, there's 2 good teams that are at the highest level. So that's good. I mean, basketball is big. A lot of people go to the games, and there's also soccer is really important too. So those like soccer and basketball are the most important sports, and yeah, a lot of people follow basketball.
Did you play any soccer growing up?
No.
No.
But I've watched soccer all my life.
So okay, I got you. So the World Cup comes around, and you've got the flag flying, and you're excited about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is it club level sports, professional level sports? Like when you say you've got the men's and women, there's two of the top teams in the country in the top level. Is it?
Yeah, they are
professional. Okay.
Professional. Mm-hmm.
Big crowds, big arena. How many people come to the games? Like, is it you go? Is it intense? Like a really great atmosphere?
There's more people in the men's than in the women's, but yeah, like 2,000, 3,000.
Okay, that's good.
But in a big game, it can be like 8,000.
Wow, that's very good. How much in Spain do you follow American sports? Any?
Not really. Like only what I see in social media because of the time difference. Like, for example, if they play at 7, I'm sleeping. It's 1 a.m. there, so I'm sleeping and I don't really follow it.
Gotcha. Because I imagine just from talking to people around the world that if you're a basketball fan, the NBA has kind of gotten around the world.
Yeah.
People in China, they may not be able to watch it as it's happening because of the time difference.
A lot of people watch the playoffs. They try to watch the playoffs, but we have to like wake up at 3 a.m. maybe. So it's kind of hard.
Yeah, that would be a little rough. Who's the national basketball heroes? Like in the United States, people would say probably Michael Jordan. They would say Kobe Bryant. You know, who are the heroes in Spain?
I just know the most recent. For example, Marc Gasol and Pau Gasol, both of them. Then I think that in the Ricky Rubio, he's playing here.
He's fun to watch.
Juan Carlos Navarro, for example. Yeah.
Yeah, you hit me when you said the Gasols because Pau especially. I'm a Laker fan, so he won some championships in L.A. and so he was really great, really great. I think underappreciated almost. He was so good because he played in that same era with players like Shaquille O'Neal and others that were maybe they didn't. You know, he didn't get as much credit as he deserved.
And Marc Gasol, like last year, the club I was playing for, Marc Gasol is the president of the club.
Really? That's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's seen us, like my team, he's seen us playing last year.
That is so cool. He seems like they both seem like really good guys, really good people. Yeah. That's so cool. That's awesome. Okay, that was the big things that are happening as far as basketball. Let's talk about the little things. When you're back home in Spain and the games are over, the practices are over, or training. I think it's probably referred to as training a little bit more in European countries than practice. When training's over, what do you do for fun?
I like to hang out with my friends a lot. Just like go to the street, walk, just shop together and talk. I also like going to the cinema. And like I said, I really like to watch sport. So I don't know, there's this sport, this game, I just watch it with my friends.
What different sports do you like?
Soccer, basketball, handball.
Tell us a little bit about that.
And paddle. You don't have that sport. It's like paddle.
No.
It's like tennis, but with like walls. But like walls, like glass walls. It's
so kind of like racquetball here. Have you ever seen racquetball?
Yeah, it's similar.
Similar to that. But tell us about handball. I hear a lot about it, but I don't know
handball.
Much.
I mean, I watch it only when my dad watches that because my dad also likes a lot of like watching sports. So yeah, I would say it's like maybe basketball and soccer.
But indoors.
Yeah, it's indoor.
And there's a goal that's probably about I don't know, maybe
it's smaller.
It's fairly small, isn't it? Yeah, because I think when we were in Israel, it must be big there as well because all the basketball arenas also had the handball. Yeah, it is fun to watch. It's kind of a high pace game. It's not maybe not as much fast breaking as basketball, but it's really.
And also we have, I think, indoor hockey, not field hockey. Like they are skating, but no with ice, not ice.
Really? So rollerblades.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow, I hadn't heard about that. That's interesting. I'll have to look at that now. That's a great thing about technology today is every game, like even 10 years ago, to say, oh, there's a handball game in Spain, and you go, well, there's no way to watch that. Well, now just about everything's on YouTube or somewhere. There's some way to watch just about any sporting event, which is really cool. Okay, so you hanging out, you're shopping. Now it's family time. Your family gets together. Is it a big family? Do you have big meals, big events?
Like my family is it's not so big. But then, for example, for Christmas, we like the 25th in my grandma's house. But everyone is there. Like we eat there. The 26th in that house, and we just did that.
So Christmas is big deal?
Is bigger there, yeah. Like the holiday days are more like the 24th, the 25th, the 26th, then the 31, the 1, and then the 5 and the 6.
What's the 5 and the 6?
We celebrate the 3 wise men. We don't really celebrate Santa Claus.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of a commercialized. They
celebrate that in some parts of Spain, but in my part we don't celebrate that.
So you celebrate the 3 wise men. Do you get gifts? Like
it's like Santa Claus. It's like the same. They come the night before, and then you wake up and there's presents.
So the 24th and the 25th really aren't as much about presents.
Well, the 24th we also have it's a thing that it's called a tío. That it's like a piece of wood that it poops presents. It's really funny. I believed that when I was little. Now I'm like, how did you believe that? But yeah. Oh. So the 24th and 25th we do that, and then the 6th we do the 3 wise men.
Wow, I learned something new today that I would have never thought of in a million years.
It's really crazy.
A piece of wood that poops
with a face.
Presents. A piece of wood with a face.
A piece of wood and it has a face. He's smiling, and then it poops presents.
Okay, you're gonna have to send me a picture.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Of that of the piece of wood that poops presents. Yeah. That's amazing. That might be the coolest tradition I've ever heard of in any country in my life. That's so awesome. Okay, the other question I think a lot of fans would be curious about is Spain is a long way from here. What got you from playing there and not just getting to the United States, but specifically to Liberty? Like, what was the initial connection, and what kind of led you to come here?
So last year I was like thinking, should I go to the United States or should I go like stay in Spain? And then I thought about it like a lot of time, and then I thought, okay, if I go there, I'll learn a new language. I mean, I knew English, but I didn't know a lot of English. Then also I think that here it's like much easier to study and play basketball. In Spain, maybe if you want to study and then you want to play basketball at a high level, it's like difficult. And those were like 2 of the main reasons I came here.
How would you describe the difference in the basketball here compared to home?
It's like maybe the professors don't understand like that much. I mean, if you have a game, okay, you have a game, but then you have to come to the exam. You know, they don't understand it. But yeah.
On the court, is the speed of the game, is the intensity of the game similar? Is it what you expected? Is it different than what you expected?
No, that's what I expected. I know it's different because maybe here there's more like one-on-one. People shoot the ball really good. I don't mean that in Spain we don't shoot the ball good, obviously, but it's different, yeah. And the game, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is it more physical here?
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah.
More contact.
More speed. Yeah.
Do you feel like you have adjusted to that well?
I think I'm still adjusting. I think I've adjusted, but yeah, there's more work to do.
How have you enjoyed Liberty? Not so much the basketball side of it, but everything else? The classes, the other students, the culture here?
Yeah, I think people is really nice here, and yeah, the culture is something that it's different, but I like it. I like to learn new things, so I like it. And then the classes of the first semester, I didn't really like it because they weren't related with my major, so I didn't like them. But now I'm taking classes that are related with my major, and I like it.
What is your major?
My major is chemistry.
Chemistry. What will that be used for eventually when basketball's done?
I wanted to be a pharmacist, like work inside of a chemistry fabric or industry. So the thing was that if I want to go back to Spain, that's the thing that I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be in 3 years, so I don't know. So I wanted to work as a pharmacist, but I needed to take like a general degree, like chemistry. It's the most similar.
That's cool. That's really cool. I think most people don't really understand pharmacy and chemistry being a thing.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the chemical makeup of the medicines. It's how they react with other medicines and the danger of that. Like that, I think that's probably the most important aspect of a pharmacist is this helps you and this helps you. But if you take them together, it might kill you. You need to be able to know.
You need to be careful.
You got to know all those things. All right, well, we've got just a little bit of time left. And so I feel like I don't feel qualified to represent the United States as a whole. But in this case, I'm the person that's representing America. And you now, what is the question that you would ask and say, what... something that doesn't make sense about the United States, something that you go, I don't understand why you guys do things this way. Here is your chance to say, why is this the way it is?
Well, my question is about the fast food. Like, why is everyone just going like with their car to a place? Okay, I'll eat that today, or I'll order that. I mean, that's really different. I mean, I don't know.
That's a good question. Well, fast food restaurants tend to have unhealthy food, and I think Americans have. It's getting better, but I think there was definitely a time when eating unhealthy was it was lazy, but it was fast, and you don't have to put a lot of effort into it. You don't have to work. Now the good thing is restaurants that cook more healthy food are making the food faster. So you and with DoorDash and Uber and everything, you can get healthier food quicker. Whereas I think Americans were had short attention spans, and so it was, I work until 6 o'clock. I want to watch a game that's at 7 o'clock. I don't have time to go home and cook a big meal. I don't even have time to go sit at a nice restaurant and eat a quick meal. So I'll just stop at McDonald's and get a hamburger and be done quickly. So fortunately now things are getting a little bit better because you can stop at places that you can get a salad quickly, or you can get a grilled chicken sandwich. So that's a little bit better. But I think maybe a combination of laziness and
because also like your dinner time, it's like at 6, 7.
Yeah.
See, that's really different from Spain.
Yeah, and when is dinner time in Spain?
No, it's just like we eat lunch, for example, at 2, 3. Like
when's
really
breakfast?
Late. Breakfast at. I mean, my school day, I was eating breakfast at 7, 8, but then I was eating like a little snack at 11, and then I was eating lunch at 2, 3.
So dinner's late?
Dinner is like at 8, 9.
And is it kind of dinner's the time when the family gets together and everybody sits at the table and nobody has their cell phones and everybody's just focused on each other? Yeah, and it used to be that way in the United States. I think there was a time, you have to go back a long time, but now cell phones and just the attention span and I hope I'm not being offensive when I say this, but TikTok, my generation hasn't gotten into it as much, but your generation, 10 seconds is about as long, 20 seconds is about as long as the attention you're gonna have, and so I don't know. That might not just be the United States. That might be all over the world. But to have a dinner and sit down, and the family just sits around and talks with each other, and how was your day, and I wish there was more of that.
My dad is always like, no phones, so we're not allowed to bring our phones in the kitchen. So
I like that.
I like
that's
that
good.
too.
That's good. And I think Americans would be better served to, and I'm sure there's some that do. I'm sure there's some families that have that same policy, but you're right. It's just everybody's so busy.
Just you talk about your day and ask them how are they.
Yeah. That's a good, we need to bring that back. That needs to be, so yeah, you're right. It's fast food. Just close all the fast food restaurants down. Only sit-down meals, and everybody talks to everybody, and everybody turns their phones.
It's good for once or twice a month, but not like every day. Well, for me, I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. No, just it caused me to think of a question. Like, so your upbringing and how you grew up compared to the other girls on the team, because there's so much variety. We've got a couple of girls from Iceland, the Netherlands, you're from Spain, and then all different parts of the United States, Canada with Emily. Is there a lot of variety, or in some ways are all 19 and 20 and 21-year-olds the same? I
mean, it's similar, but the most different thing is like the day. Like in Spain, I feel that days are longer. And here, for example, here at 5, 6, I'm done. I mean, dinner and I'm done. Homework and that's it. But yeah, so everything is closed at 6, 7.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Wow, that's a good. That's very interesting. So if dinner's not until 8 or 9 o'clock at night, then, and if you're getting up at 7 in the morning, then that's a long
day.
By American standards, that's a very long day. Well, I have learned a lot today, and I feel like there's many more questions that I could ask, and we'll have other times that we'll talk in the future. But the most favorite thing that I learned was the tradition of a piece of wood with a face that poops presents at Christmas time. That is the most amazing thing. So I'm glad I don't know how we got to that question, but I'm glad that we got there. And Claudia, it's been really cool kind of learning more about you and seeing you continue to develop on the basketball court and off the basketball court as well.
Thank you so much.